Hello, everyone. On behalf of Comco, allow me to extend a warm welcome to you. Let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Mehdi Zapana, the CEO of Comco with more than 20 years experience in the field of IT. During these years, I have always tried my best make my knowledge and experiences available to others. And I'm delighted to be here today to talk to you. What I'm going to talk about today is getting to know the cloud. The purpose of this presentation is to familiarize you with the cloud, its benefits, possibilities, and network security tools. This presentation is divided into four parts that include these concepts. One, migrating data to the cloud. Two, five essential cloud trends for small businesses. Three, cloud data security. Four, network security tools and techniques. In the following, my colleague will provide you with additional explanation. Mr. Kamandi, please.
Hello everyone, in this session we talk about cloud advantage, migration, security in cloud, and some security tools. Thank you for your attention in advance. Essential cloud trends. There are five essential cloud trends for small businesses. Accelerating cloud infrastructure, data collection, shorter consumer journey, normalized remote work setups, and outsource cloud-based hiring and operations. 1. Accelerating cloud infrastructure. The global public cloud infrastructure market is accelerating at an incredible rate, primarily driven by the wide-scale adoption of the Internet of Things and supported by 5G and artificial intelligence. We are in midst of business paradigm shift as small businesses adopt the technology once reserved for large corporations. It will soon be unattainable for small businesses to thrive or even survive without operating and competing within the cloud ecosystem. 2. Data collection. By collecting and tracking data, small businesses can analyze and better understand their customer. This helps create predictive modeling and smart forecasting on the sales and marketing side, and optimization on the operation side. Whether business is a small hardware store, e-commerce store, or an industry service, data is paramount to connecting with potential and existing consumers. 3. Shorter consumer journey. With the evolution of predictive AI, database customers profiles, digital wallets, and next-day delivery, consumer has a little time for old e-commerce sites. Patience just isn't a virtual in the digital world. Normalize remote work setups. Remote work is here to stay. Recent reports suggest that by 2022, 31% of all work will either be fully remote or a hybrid of remote and on-site. Current employers and prospective hire will take this into consideration as they take stock of their work preferences. 5. Outsource cloud-based hiring and operation. The days of a small business owners spending 40% of their time on the tasks don't generate income like hiring are coming to an end. The trend toward the cloud is alleviating those bottlenecks and free up a small business owner to focus on profit, HR services, customer support, IT management, marketing initiative. All these services are hireable through the gig economy using the cloud. One issue that's so important when we want to migrate to cloud is data migration. Now we show the basic concept of migration dataset and offers a walkthrough for data migration from an on-premises data center to the Azure cloud. What is data migration? Data migration is a process designed and implemented for the purpose of transferring data between a storage system, computer system, or data formats. Organizations migrate data for various reasons. For example, when upgrading or replacing a storage equipment or servers. This process is also implemented when shifting data over to the third-party cloud provider, when consolidating websites, performing infrastructure maintenance, and upgrading software. It's also used during data center relocation and company mergers. I'll explain the basic concept of migration datasets and present a general purpose of migrating your data. Types of data migration. Here are several data migration types: storage migration, database migration, and application migration. Storage migration involves the transfer of data from a certain storage repository to another. Storage migration can take place on premises or in cloud environments. It's generally considered the most straightforward migration, but still requires a solid migration strategy. The target of a storage migration in the cloud may be object storage, file storage, or block storage. Database migration. The process of upgrading a database engine. It involves shifting entire installed database of files into a new device. A database migration is typically more difficult to achieve than a storage migration. This is because you need to shift higher volumes of data, which might be formatted differently. It's required backup your database, detaching each database from engine, and then migrate the file to the new engine. You can then restore the file into a new location and database. Application migration. The process of shifting an entire software application from one location to another. This includes all application components, including database, folder, and installation files. It may require a combination of storage and database migration. It may also require working with the application vendor to ensure the application functions properly post-migration. Data migration strategies. Here are two commonly used data migration strategies. Big Bang migration. A Big Bang migration happened as a single event, during which live system experienced downtime. This happened because data goes through extract, transform, load processing, and move to the new target database. This approach is usually associated with a greater level of risk if a failure occurs. Hierarchical migration. Hierarchical migration is designed in phases, during which old and new systems run concurrently. This model eliminates operational interruption and downtime. However, hierarchical migration is often complex and time-consuming, which is why it requires careful planning. Data migration process. Data migration process include three phases: planning, migrating design, and migrating and testing. Planning. Start with evaluating your data assets and building a migration plan. You can break down the planning process into these steps. Narrow the scope of migration. Define the most critical data you need to migrate and filter out the excess. Consult with data user impacted by any proposed changes. Assess the source and target system. Analyze the source system and the target system to evaluate how you can adapt the operational requirements of your current system to the new environment. Set data standards. This is important for detecting issues during and after migration. Set a timeline and budget. Estimate a timeline and resource required to implement the migration process and set deadline and budget. Migration design. Specify the rules, roles, and acceptance criteria for migration and testing. Consider using data migration tools like extract, transform, and load ETL, and hire specialized developers or engineers to operate them. For unstructured data, consider treating data to reduce its size and complexity before migration. Migrating and testing. Execute the migration and implement continuous testing. You can use a Big Bang approach to migration, which takes a day or two to transfer all the data but require downtime, or a theoretical approach which is much slower but eliminates a slowdown and reduce the risk of critical failure. Regardless of the approach you implement, testing should be baked into the design and execution of your migration. In a theoretical approach, each portion of data should be tested when it is migrated to ensure problems are fixed early. Apply frequent tests to ensure the retention of data integrity both during and after the migration. Real-life example: migrating unstructured data to the Azure storage. Microsoft Azure is the world's second largest cloud provider. Azure provides extensive migration resources that can help automate migration for both data and workload, especially if your on-premises systems are based on Windows or Windows Server. Let's see what the process looks like when migrating large-scale unstructured dataset to the Azure storage. Discovery. These files involve determining which source you need to migrate. For example, you might decide to migrate your SNMP shared object namespace or NFS exports. You can implement these files manually or leverage automated tools. Assessment. These files can help you understand which migration options are suitable for your scenario. Here are several steps you can implement for the assessment phase. Choose a target storage and service. The storage type you choose should be suitable to the application and user accessing the data. To determine this aspect, you should do two types of assessment: a technical assessment to determine possible targets, and financial assessment to determine a cost and effective option. Select a migration method. Azure lets you choose between online and offline migration. The online migration method consumes network bandwidth when migrate data. either a public internet connection or Azure Express Route. Service without a public endpoint need to use a VPN over a public internet connection. Offline migration requires the use of Azure database device. You can also combine the two methods. Choose a suitable migration tool. You can choose from a wide range of third-party, first-party, and open-source migration tools. Notable open-source options include AZCopy, Xcopy, rsync, and ROCopy. You can combine native Azure Files capabilities with Azure File Syncs to migrate from Windows file servers to Azure Files. Complex migration might require to use the commercial tools. Migration. This phase involves moving the data. To accomplish an easier switchover, you should implement the migration phase several times. Here are the main steps of the migration phase. Initial migration. Migrating all data from the source of a specific target. Typically, this step is responsible for moving the bulk of data chosen for migration. Resync. Migrating data that was changed after the initial migration step. If there are several changes, you can repeat this step multiple times. Running multiple resync operations can help you reduce the overall time it takes to complete the final step. Final switchover, switching active usage from the source to the target data, and then retiring the source. During an on-premises to the cloud migration, there are two approaches to moving data and application as a part of a cloud migration strategy. Offline or online migration. Each approach offers different pros and cons from the perspective of performance, cost saving, and security. What is offline cloud migration? In an offline migration, an enterprise uses physical storage media such as portable disk drives or a storage appliance to move raw workloads to cloud environment. Under this method, admins acquire portable storage media, copy data from local system onto it, then physically deliver the media to the cloud provider. After that, the provider uploads the data to its cloud via a local network connection, which is faster than the public internet, or connect the storage media directly to its cloud server. Once the data is in the cloud, the offline migration is considered completed and the portable storage media can be decommissioned or reused. This on-premises to cloud migration approach usually costs more than an online transfer because enterprises need to rent or purchase large volumes of storage media and then pay to relocate it. What is online cloud migration? An online cloud migration uses a network, either a cloud provider's direct connection service or the public internet, to transfer data and applications to cloud data center in real time. Online migrations are similar overall because IT teams can copy the data in one step from their local infrastructure to the cloud. Online migration typically also offers a cost saving compared to online approach because the only expense is whatever it costs to pay for the bandwidth necessary to transfer data from on-premises to a cloud. The major disadvantage with online cloud migrations is that they can be slow, especially when businesses have a large amounts of data to transfer due to network bandwidth limitation. In addition, moving data over the internet can expose the data to network security risks. The biggest factor to consider when choosing an on-premises cloud migration method are how much data you need to move and how quickly you have to move it. Although an online migration might be the easiest and most popular choice, it can be problematic for organizations with a large amounts of data and a strict migration time frame. The most important subject in using cloud is cloud data security. Cloud data security refers to the technologies, policies, and services and security controls that protect any type of data in the cloud from loss, leakage, or misuse through the breaches, exfiltration, and authorized access. A robust data security strategy should be included, ensuring the security and privacy of data across the networks as well as within applications, containers, workloads, and other cloud environments. Controlling data access for all users, devices, and software. Providing complete visibility into all data on the network. The cloud data protection and security strategy must also protect data of all types. This includes data in use, data in motion, and data at rest. Data in use, it means security data being used by an application or endpoints through the user authentication and access control. Data in motion, ensuring the safe transmission of sensitive or confidential data while it moves across the network through encryption or other security measures. Data at rest, protecting data that is being stored on any network location, including the cloud, through access restriction and user authentication. Why should businesses store data in the cloud? Organizations have shifted to the cloud because it is a key enabler of almost every digital business transformation strategy. When it comes to the cloud data storage, especially organizations can unlock valuable benefits such as lower cost. Cloud storage is generally more affordable for businesses and organizations because the infrastructure costs are shared across users. Resource optimization. Typically speaking, in the cloud model, the CSP is responsible for maintenance on cloud-based servers, hardware, and databases, or other cloud infrastructure elements. In addition, the organization no longer needs to host or maintain on-premises components. This not allow decrease overall IT costs, but allow staff to be redeveloped to focus on other issues such as customer support or business modernization. Improved access. Cloud hosted database can be accessed by any authorized user from virtually any device in any location in the world, so long as there is an internet connection, a must for enabling the modern digital workforce. Scalability. Cloud resources such as databases are flexible, meaning they can be quickly spun up or down based on the variable needs of the business. This allows the organization to manage surges in demand on seasonal spikes in the more timely and cost-effective way. Business risk to storing data in the cloud. Although storing data within the cloud offers organizations many important benefits, but environment is not without challenges. Here, some risk business may be faced to storing data in the cloud without the proper security measure in place. Data branches. Data branches occur differently in the cloud than in on-premises attacks. Malware is less relevant. Instead, attackers exploit mixed configuration, inadequate access, a stolen credential, and other vulnerabilities. Misconfigurations. Misconfigurations are the number one vulnerability in a cloud environment and can lead to overly permissive privileges on accounts, insufficient login, and other security gaps that expose organizations to cloud breaches, insider threat, and advertisers who leverage vulnerabilities to gain access to data. Unsecure APIs. Businesses often use APIs to connect services and transfer data, either internally or to the partners, supplier, customer, and others. Because APIs turn certain type of data into endpoints, changes to the data policy or privilege levels can increase the risk of unauthorized access to more data than the host intend. Access control, unauthorized access. Organizations using multi-cloud environments tend to rely on default access controls of their cloud provider, which became an issue particularly in multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environment. Inside threats can do a great deal of damage with their privileged access, knowledge of where to strike, and ability to hide their tracks. Cloud data security best practices. To ensure the security of their data, organizations must adopt a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy that addresses data vulnerabilities specific to the cloud. Key elements of a robust cloud data security strategy include leverage advanced encryption capabilities. One effective way to protect data is to encrypt it. Cloud encryption transforms data from plain text into an unreadable format before it enters the cloud. Implement a data loss prevention (DLP) tool. Data loss prevention is a part of a company's overall security strategy that focuses on detecting and preventing the loss, leakage, or misuse of data. Enable unified visibility across private, hybrid, and multi-cloud environments. Ensure security posture and governance. Another key elements of data security is having the proper security policy and governance in place. Strengthening identity and access management. Identity and access management helps organizations streamline and automate identity and access management tasks and enable more granular access control and privileges. 14 network security tools and techniques to know. Network security is a term that describes the security tools, tactics, and security policies designed to monitor, prevent, and respond to unauthorized network intrusion, while also protect digital assets, including network traffic. Network security includes hardware and software technologies. Access control. Access control allows you to increase your network security by limiting user access and resources to only the parts of the network that directly apply to individual users' responsibilities. 2. Anti-malware software. Anti-malware tools are a kind of network security software designed to identify dangerous programs and prevent them from spreading. Anti-malware and antivirus may also be able to help resolve malware infections. Anomaly detection. Network anomaly detection engine allow you to analyze your network so that when breaches occur, you'll be alerted to them quickly enough to be able to respond. 4. Application securities. For many attackers, applications are a defensive vulnerability that can be exploited. Application security helps establish security parameters for any applications can may be relevant to your network security. 5. Data loss prevention, DLP. DLP technologies and policies help protect the staff and other users from missing and possibly compromising sensitive data or allowing said data out of the network. 6. Mail security. Mail security helps identify dangerous mails and can also be used to block attacks and prevent the sharing of vital data. 7. Endpoint security. Endpoint security adds a layer of defense between remote device and business networks. Firewalls. Firewalls function much like gates, can be used to secure the border between your network and the internet. Firewalls are used to manage network traffic, allowing authorized traffic through while blocking access non-authorized traffic. 9. Intrusion prevention system, also called intrusion detection, constantly scan and analyze network traffic packets so that different types of attacks can be identified and responded to quickly. 10. Network segmentation. Network segmentation allows you to grant the right access to the right traffic while restricting traffic from suspicious sources. Security Information and Event Management, SIEM. Sometimes simply pulling together the right information from so many different tools and respond can be so difficult, especially when time is an issue. SIEM tools and software give responders the data they need to act quickly. Virtual Private Network, VPN. VPN security tools are used to authenticate communication between secure networks and endpoint device. Remote access VPN generally use IPsec or SSL for authentication. 13. Web security, including security tools, hardware, policies, and more. Web security is a blanket term for describe the network security measure businesses take to ensure safe web use when connected to an internet network. And the last, wireless security. Generally speaking, wireless networks are less secure than traditional networks. So, strict wireless security measures are necessary to ensure that threat actors are not gaining access. Any question? Thank you for watching.